When Carlos Sainz was let go by Ferrari at the end of last season, it was assumed that he'd be left at the back of the grid, wallowing in an uncompetitive Williams car, questioning what he'd done wrong to deserve that fate. However, that hasn't been the case, and last weekend at Imola, Sainz outqualified his replacement Lewis Hamilton for the fourth race in a row and secured his third straight points finish. However, when you look at how his teammate Alex Albon is doing, Sainz's performances are a little less impressive. In Imola, Carlos felt the team were to blame for his performance, and he's demanding change. Today, I'll check out why Sainz was ready to defy his team, why he was so unfortunate to finish behind the Ferraris, and why Albon was left disappointed with his fifth-place finish. So, don't go anywhere. Williams have been the surprise package of the season so far. They finished last season with just 17 points in the Constructors' Championship across 6 points finishes. James Vowles has continued to reaffirm his plan with Williams. They are to learn and revolutionize their processes in an attempt to make a big jump in 2026. Everyone expected their performance from last season to carry over to this season, with the main focus being on the new regulations. That hasn't been the case though. Between Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon, they've accrued 51 points over 10 points finishes, establishing themselves comfortably in 5th position in the Constructors' Championship. In the first 6 races of this season, they've secured just 2 points less than they did over the entirety of the 2022, 23, and 24 season combined. It is a colossal turnaround in form, and for Carlos Sainz, it couldn't have come at a better time. Making the move from Ferrari to Williams was never going to be easy. In terms of modern competitiveness, it's a big downgrade. And that isn't to knock Williams. Historically, they are a significant team, but the financial problems that plagued them at the end of the Williams family ownership had an effect, and are now only starting to recover from those. Sainz went from podium contention to wondering if he would even be able to score points. Fortunately for him though, his arrival coincided with a huge improvement within the team, but so far he hasn't been the driver making the most of that. Sainz has only finished ahead of Albon once all season, and that was in Saudi Arabia. He has 11 points to his teammates' 40, and despite qualifying ahead of Alex at Imola, Carlos finished 3 places further back, and it could have been more if Alex Albon's final laps had played out differently, but more on that later. Sainz suffered from a very similar problem to McLaren's Oscar Piastri. He was leading his teammate early on when the team opted to pit the Spaniard early. With plenty of the competition opting for a longer first stint, that dropped Sainz into traffic down the order. Williams made the decision because the initial tyre wear on the medium tyres appeared to be pretty heavy, and Sainz was one of many cars that started struggling as the race approached 10 laps. The problem was that if the drivers could make it through the initial tyre wear phase, the performance of the mediums quickly improved again. Almost all of the cars that went long on the first stint made it to lap 29, which was when the VSC was called out. He was swiftly on the radio after his first stop, saying that a one-stop was the way forward, even then knowing he was on a less than ideal strategy. Obviously a bit unhappy right now after another weekend where we had good pace, strong enough to score a top 5 today, Sainz said. We were quicker than Mercedes, quicker than Ferrari. I honestly felt really good out there the whole weekend, but for some reason we don't seem to catch a break on Sundays with the race execution. If I'm very honest with you, pitting so early was never in the plan. There was no warning from no one to say we were going to box, so when the box call came, I was very close to not boxing and disobeying. At the same time, I'm a team player, and obviously the team has more info than what I have, so I followed the order just in case there was something happening that I couldn't see. Sainz elaborated on the issues around race strategy and communication within the team, saying he had yet to build the kind of rapport he had with his previous employers, and that Williams needed to take a step this year. He was well known for calling his own strategy from the car at Ferrari, often putting himself on better strategies than his teammate Leclerc, who was so often the victim of the Ferrari pit wall. Frustrated because it's not the first time, and it's costing us a lot of points on Sundays. But at the same time, I've always told the team, this is a year to make these mistakes, to try and learn from them. At the same time, we need to make a step because we're starting to give away too many points for my liking. While Sainz has every right to be disappointed with the strategy calls his team made, there was plenty that happened which impacted his race that was outside of the team's control. When Esteban Ocon's Haas stopped on the hill between the Tosa and Piratella corners, leading to a virtual safety car, all of those who had run long from the start were richly rewarded. Pitting in VSC conditions saved roughly 10 seconds for all the cars which ran long. And for Williams, it was too good a chance to pass up, so they pitted Sainz for the second time during the race, meaning he had taken an extra pit stop compared to his competitors for absolutely no reason. If Ocon's Haas had held on for another 3 or 4 laps, it's likely that all the long runners would have already pitted, meaning Sainz could have taken a second stop and been one of the few beneficiaries, but sadly for him that wasn't the case. If Ocon hadn't had to stop on the side of the road, then Sainz could have run much longer on his second stint, before taking a second stop much later in the race, and then attacking on fresher tyres over the last 15 laps or so. It seems unlikely it would have been a better strategy than just doing one stop, but it would have definitely earned him a higher finishing place than 8th. While Sainz suffered from Williams' strategy calls, Albon was one of the many drivers who profited from that virtual safety car period. For the second race in a row, Alex Albon secured a 5th place finish. Considering his best with Williams prior to this season was a 7th place, you would think he'd be very happy with that, but that isn't the case. Before I talk about it though, if you're enjoying the video and want to catch all the news from the 2025 F1 season, then make sure to press that like button and subscribe to F1 Reverse. Thanks a lot. So Albon ran a very similar race to the majority of the rest of the field. He ran long at the start and then pitted under the VSC, meaning he jumped early stopper Oscar Piastri and provisionally held 3rd. He was cleared by Piastri's McLaren as the race developed though, and then dropped to 5th after stopping for fresh tyres under a late safety car, coming back out between the recovering Ferrari pair of Charles Leclerc, who was another who made the mistake of stopping early, and Lewis Hamilton. With Leclerc and Piastri suffering after the late safety car with very old tyres, Albon had a serious chance of converting his 5th place into a podium if he could clear Charles Leclerc quickly enough. Overtaking proved to be surprisingly easy during the Grand Prix, despite Imola likely to lose its place on the calendar for good due to the lack of overtaking in previous races. However, as Albon was getting into position to make the move on Charles, Lewis Hamilton had closed up into DRS range of the two. As Alex went to make the pass around the outside into the first chicane, Leclerc left no room on the outside for the Williams, which was alongside him throughout the corner, forcing Albon into the gravel. The off-track trip cost him so much time that Hamilton was able to pass through, overtaking his teammate in the process as well. The incident was noted by the race stewards and was passed on for investigation before Ferrari told Leclerc to give the place back. Albon would have made the pass that lap anyway, but Leclerc made it easy for him into the first chicane to make sure the stewards saw that he'd given it back by choice, not because his aging hard tyres had lost all of their performance. Asked if he had mixed emotions over the result, Albon replied, "It's weird, isn't it? On the pure race outlook, we were fighting for P3, P4. That's no safety cars, that's just the pure situation. Obviously, we were maybe a little bit lucky with the VSC, admittedly, but at the same time we got unlucky again on the last safety car. Back-to-back P5s, and we're coming away today a bit disappointed, which is a bit strange to say. I think maybe I could have raced Charles a bit differently. I could have done a bit better there. Obviously, I lost out to Lewis, and maybe I could have been a bit more patient with my overtake of Charles. I was kind of licking my lips. I thought I could even get Oscar up in front as well, such was the pace in the new tyres we had on the car. It's a testament to how far Williams have come that their drivers are disappointed with a 5th and 8th place finish, but there was definitely a possibility of much more for them in Imola. Let's hope that they can replicate that impressive qualifying performance next weekend in Monaco. Do you think Sainz and Albon are right to be disappointed with the results of the weekend? Do you think they could have had a podium finish if things had gone their way? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.